It's August, and you know what that means. It's time to discuss this year's Brave Heroes. For those who don't recall, the winners this year were Gatekeeper, Marianne, Marth, and Eirika. I've also theory-crafted a little something for each of them. I'm warning you now, if you came here expecting a Sword Marth or a Lance Gatekeeper, you might be disappointed. I like my Brave builds to be something different than what we already have for these characters. And this is how I would design them if IS called me and put me in charge of designing the Brave Heroes. Also, all of these units have what I would guess to be Gen 6 BST, based on previous year's power creep, so don't be surprised if their stats seem a little high. The last thing before we get started is that I want to make a special shout out to fellow FEHologist Memento Mori for being a fantastic human being and listening to me ramble at 1 in the morning about my builds, pointing out flaws and providing feedback. He actually designed Eirika's weapon and one of her new skills himself, so this episode wouldn't be half as good without him. Thanks, Mori. Also, while they weren't there at 1 AM, Joel and Ilya were both huge helps in making this as well. Alright, let's get started. So going from least votes to most, our first unit is Eirika, Joyous Princess. Princess of the Nation of Renee in Magvel, I've determined Eirika to be our colorless unit on this banner. She's a staff flyer with 37 HP, 37 attack, 46 speed, 14 defense, and 34 resistance. She has a super boon in attack and a super bane in actually everything else. HP, speed, defense, and resistance. That's a lot of super banes, but trust me, that just means she's min-maxed. With 168 BST, a boon, and a merge, she scores in a 170 BST bin in arena modes. I originally wanted her to be a colorless tome unit, but a certain man who looks strangely like Ephraim in a pair of sunglasses reminded me that there's only one piece of regalia from Sacred Stones completely missing from Fire Emblem Heroes, the Latona staff. Since Brave Ephraim carried Garm, it would make sense for Eirika to wield a similar weapon. Latona is a staff wielded by an ancient hero of the same name, who went on to found the Theocracy of Rouston, making him Larachel's ancestor. Here, the weapon has a wrathful effect and deals damage equal to 15% of Eirika's speed. Alongside that, she grants a Spectrum +5 to allies within 2 spaces during combat, as well as allows them to restore 5 HP upon dealing damage. She can also give these effects to herself when initiating combat within 2 spaces of an ally. Her heal skill is Nudge Plus, the same one that came on Summerhilda. For those who don't remember, it's Shove but a heal skill. I did design an original heal skill for her, but decided I didn't want to give her too many new inheritables, so I'll save that one for later. Her special is new, however, Calming Bomb Plus. It's a bomb skill just like the ones that exist, but instead of providing a dual bonus to all allies, it instead acts as an opposite to panic skills, kind of like Chaos Ragnell and weapons like that. That said, since it is stronger than the other bomb skills, I increased its cooldown to 2 instead of just 1. Her B-slot is yet another inheritable skill, this time being Restore Attack Speed 3. This is the opposite of the lull skill, granting her attack speed +5 during combat, and neutralizing all visible penalties on those stats during combat. Her C-slot is Speed Resistance Rain, for reasons that I imagine don't need explained. Next up on the top 4 list is Marianne, Curse's Survivor. While I showed her existing art in Heroes, that would actually end up being her timeskip version, so just imagine that. This would actually end up being her post-timeskip version, so just imagine that. Unfortunately, we have no official full-body art of her post-timeskip version, so I'm settling with this. She is a sword cavalry unit, which means we can finally get to see Best Boy Dorte, Marianne's horse friend, in the game, which automatically makes this a perfect build, don't at me, goodbye. She has 37 HP, 38 attack, 41 speed, 16 defense, and 40 resistance, giving her 172 BST. She has a super boon in res and super banes in speed and defense, and giving her that super boon plus a merge will drop her into the 175 BST bin. Her weapon is, of course, Blutgong, the relic linked to her crest. Like in 3 Houses, it's effective against cavalry foes, but also includes an effect reminiscent of her personal skill, Animal Friend, and somewhat similar to Icy Fimblevetter, the tome her base form carries. While within 3 spaces of cavalry, flying, or beast allies, she not only recovers 5 HP each time she deals damage, but also has adaptive damage. Her PRF skill is a special called Beast Fang, to represent her own heritage. It's similar to Dragon Fang in that it boosts her attack, but also provides special cooldown +1 to all allies after triggering, and increases their damage dealt during this turn by 10. This special also gives itself a full cooldown at turn 1, making it so that it can be used during Marianne's first engagement of the match. It has a special cooldown of 3. She also comes with Swift Strike 3 in the A slot. The skill actually isn't in the game yet, probably because Swift Impact exists. However, since Marianne is a cavalry unit, she can't get impact skills, so Swift Strike 3 will have to do the trick. She also comes with SR Near Trace 3, which I imagine isn't a huge shock, and Pulse Smoke, because I kinda struggled to come up with a better C slot for her. If you have better ideas, feel free to comment about them. The second place unit, both in the male bracket and overall, was Marth. Finally, I'm surprised it took him this long, honestly. Really quickly, let's talk about stats. He has 38 HP, 42 attack, 17 speed, 45 defense, and 38 resistance, with a super wounded attack and super banes in HP, speed, and defense. Altogether, he hits 180 BST. Yeah, as a cavalry unit. That's insane. This one takes a little bit of explanation. Spoilers ahead for Shadow Dragon, New Mystery, and Awakening. If you haven't played those games, just jump forward 30 seconds or something. Okay, so for those of you who haven't played Marth's games, the Fire Emblem of Archanaean has been afflicted by a curse left by Artemis, former Princess of Archanaean. During the War of Liberation a century before Marth was born, she fell in love with his ancestor, Henri, the wielder of the falchion. However, she ended up being forced into a political marriage with Caldus, a local duke and wielder of the Fire Emblem. Henri went on to die childless, passing the mantle of King of Altea on to his younger brother. And Artemis cursed the Fire Emblem, stating that it would be the end of war, but also the end of love. And ever since, every time it has changed hands, someone has lost love. During the War of Shadows, Princess Nina gave the shield to Marth, causing the death of her beloved, the Grustian General Camus. This is proven again during the time of Awakening, when Chrom lost his beloved sister Emran after receiving the Binding Shield. The Fire Emblem was a symbol of greater gain, but personal loss. Knowledgeable of this curse, Marth now takes to battle to give respect to a fallen foe. He wields a lance, mindful of the sacrifice Camus made for the sake of his nation and people. His lance wields the same title as its owner, the Star and Savior, a name given to Marth after he freed Altea from Dulrian control. Using the power of the shield's curse, he punishes foes who remain with their allies. Despite his low speed stat, if his foe is near one of their allies, he gets a guaranteed follow-up attack. Alongside that, if he defeats a foe, any other foes within 2 spaces of that one take damage equal to Marth's attack minus that unit's defense. To go along with this area of effect weapon, Marth comes with a new special skill, Vicious Wind. It's exactly the same as Blazing Wind, except the trigger is on the enemy phase instead of the player phase. He also comes with a new skill in Follow-Up Smoke, which makes it so, after combat, foe and foes within smoke range lose access to skills that guarantee them a follow-up attack. Yeah, have fun with that one. He also has defense resistance solo to make sure Marth remembers to stay away from his own allies, and lull attack defense. Our final unit is the one you've been waiting for. The man, the myth, the smile. Everyone, I'd like you to welcome Gatekeeper to Fire Emblem Heroes.
Greetings, Professor.
Yeah, greetings to you too, Gatekeeper. Every time I show anyone my Gatekeeper build, anyone at all, the first words out of their mouth are, I thought he'd be a lance unit. Legitimately, every time. It's crazy. Please don't put that in the comments, I've seen it enough. Don't worry, I have no doubts that IS will release another non-brave Gatekeeper at some point. He's too popular for them to... He's too popular for them not to. He can get a lance then. For now, though, I want him to have a bow. Anyone who's been around FEHology for a while will look at this HP and know that I built Gatekeeper for Illia. He has a whopping 64 hit points, more than even Arden does at level 40. His other stats are far less impressive though. 30 attack, 15 speed, and 38 each of defense and resistance. He has no super boons, but a super bane in speed. Altogether, he is a 185 BST physical damage ranged armor unit. His weapon is the Bow of Zoltan. It provides plus 5 HP, bringing him all the way up to the funny number, and a special cooldown reduction of 1. Most of the rest of his weapon is HP based. Allowing him to avoid armor-effective weapons wielded by foes with less HP, and move adjacent to allies with less HP within 2 spaces. It also provides close counter, which is very important for later. Slick Fighter and Bracing Stance should both be fairly straightforward for him, but he also comes with a new inheritable special, Heavy Armor. This skill is available only to armored units, and reduces damage for the next attack taken, from either ranged or melee combat, by 50%. Alongside that, it also increases his next attack during that round by 15%. Mach Defender is his personal C skill. You all knew this is coming. It's a save skill that doesn't matter if the foe is attacking from close or distant range. This is why close counter in his bow was so important. It also grants him defense resistance plus 6 during combat, and neutralizes any bonuses the foe has to those same stats. Alright, well that was a lot of work, but I'm really happy with what I pulled off. Thanks again to my fellow FEHologists for their help, as well as other feedback given by members of our FEHology Discord server, as well as Swift Seas over the last couple of months. All of that means a ton. If you think you can improve any of these builds, tell me in the comments, or if you want to share your own, join our Discord server. We have an entire channel just for Theorycrafting, and it is phenomenal. I also shared a few skills in there that I designed for this banner, but I ended up not implementing, so go ahead and check these out. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, or DM me on Discord at DekuNut number 7422. Thanks for watching, and remember to schedule another appointment with your FEHologist soon. Goodbye.